2, 1, 2, 4. Prepare the way. All his people make straight a path. For Yeshua's coming back, so we lift up as the mighty voice. Hosanna, hallelujah, Hosanna, hallelujah. Prepare the way. All his people make straight a path. For Yeshua's coming back, so we lift up as the mighty voice. Hosanna, hallelujah, Hosanna, hallelujah. For he's coming in the clouds with his glory renowned. Make a path for him. He'll be shining like the sun with the sword on his tongue. He's calling us in, so be ready. For Yeshua is coming again. Prepare the way. All his people make straight a path. For Yeshua's coming back, so we lift up as the mighty voice. Hosanna, hallelujah, Hosanna, hallelujah. For he's coming in the clouds with his glory renowned. Make a path for him. He'll be shining like the sun with the sword on his tongue. He is calling us in, so be ready. For Yeshua is coming again. The Son of Man who died for our sins was raised to life, and he's coming again. So prepare the way, O people of Yah, let us not delay. The shepherd is called the Son of Man who died for our sins, was raised to life, and he's coming again. So prepare the way, the people of Yah, let us not delay. The shepherd is called the Son of Man who died for our sins, was raised to life, and he's coming again. So prepare the way, the people of Yah, let us not delay. The shepherd is called the Son of Man who died for our sins, was raised to life, and he's coming again. So prepare the way, the people of Yah, let us not delay. The shepherd is called. For he's coming in the clouds with his glory renowned. Make a path for him, and he'll be shining like the sun with the sword on his tongue. He is calling us in. For he's coming in the clouds with his glory renowned. Make a path for him. He'll be shining like the sun with the sword on his tongue. He is calling us in, so be ready. For Yeshua is coming again. He's coming again.
All right, Shabbat Shalom, everybody out there. My name is Jason,
I'm Caden.
I'm Jaden.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Eli.
and we are the Yahuwah and the Torah channel. And we thank you guys very, very much for taking care of all sorts of things and making it to this table right here at this time. This is a time that we are celebrating a day of rest that our Creator has given to us It is a beautiful, gracious day. It is a benefit to humanity that we don't have to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, that our Creator has told us that as a people, as a covenanted people, I would like you guys to keep my day, the seventh day Shabbat. And so here we are. We thank you guys for being a part of our little table here out in the middle of a jungle. And much love to everybody out there. We are the family that believes, based upon the words of scriptures, that the first 5 books of scriptures, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, are the rule set for life. And it's not something that we have come to this conclusion on by ourselves. It is something that is very, very clear when you read scriptures. And you can't start in scriptures at the end of the book and expect to understand everything about it. It's like trying to read the book War and Peace, which those who know is a ginormous book. You can't start in chapter 15 and just keep on reading, because nothing is going to make sense. The same concept applies when we're talking to scriptures. From the front of the book to the end of the book, our Creator has said that if you would like to be a child of the Most High, if you want to be where I am your Elohim and you are my people, then the way forward are the people who obey the laws, statutes, and commands. And it is with that we have been blessed with a Messiah. We have been given a king. We've been given a sacrifice. We've been given a priest. And we have been given a leader for the kingdom to come. And according to scriptures, there is a world after this. There is a world that is going to be a kingdom that we can possibly all enter into. But as Matthew 7 very clearly says, Messiah says that those who are lawless are sent to hell. He says that he will send them to hell. And those are hard things to understand, because that goes against the concept of Christianity. That goes against once saved, always saved. That goes against these doctrines that we have been fed all of our lives in this so-called world of religion. And there's 41,000 plus different religions out there, my friends, and every single one of them walk contrary to what Scripture says. You do not have a single religion anywhere that is out there that obeys the laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator, and that has the faith of Messiah Yahushua. Now, for those who do not know who Messiah Yahushua was, the letter J wasn't invented till the year 1524, 1525. There were no J's in Hebrew. There's no J sound anywhere out there. And prior to the year 1611, they had the name of our Messiah as Iesus. So you either have almost Jesus or you have Isis, and neither one of these are the name of the Son of the Most High. Now, some say Yahushua, some say Yeshua, some say Yahshua. I think they're far better than the pagan name that we have been given, and there's only one name under heaven by which man may be saved. So if we can get the name right, or at least get close to it, I think that's a good sign for all of us. But I don't think it's a salvation thing. I don't think if we have the name of our Creator's Son wrong, I don't think we're going to be plagued, because we have a set of laws, statutes, and commandments. And if we are those covenant people, then what the Scripture says is those are the people who are saved. So with that, Jade, or actually Cade, open us up in prayer, please.
Father, thank you for this day. We thank you for your Shabbat. Thank you for your day, the day you will bless us with. We thank you for your upcoming festival times as we enter into those, that you count as righteousness for us, for attempting to keep those, for doing what we know how to do to keep those. I ask that your blessings are upon us, that your Ruach is upon us today, that your wisdom to understand, to read the words, that we're able to teach the people that are new to this, that we're able to teach people that are not new to this, that we can find something from your word today. And we ask that everything we do is blessed by you in Yahshua's name. Amen.
Okay. All right, Jade.
Hear, O Israel, Yahuwah Elohim, Yahuwah is one. You shall love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart, with all your being, with all your might. And these words I command you today shall be in your heart, and you shall impress them upon your children, and shall speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. And shall bind them as a sign, as a sign on your hand, and they shall be fronts between your eyes. And you shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates.
Okay, so here we are, guys. This is a promise. This is a commandment, and it's a simple enough commandment, but it's the command that a lot of people don't even care that is a commandment, right? We're told, number one, that our Creator is one, and as we go into this, what we're going to do is we're loaded today as far as what we got to read. We're over 100 verses, but I'm going to add more to it because I think this is an important topic that we're going to talk about. And so we're going to jump into from Deuteronomy 6 directly into something that I want to present that we ended up last week, and we've never set somebody outside the assembly quite like we did last week. But we actually did, and it was very weird. But I did not have this ready to present, and so thanks to my little homeboy Eli, he got this and put this together. And I had this before, but it was all based on Sefer Scriptures. And so, Mr. Cole, will you greet all of our brothers and sisters before we get into this?
All right, we have Joanna, we have Candy and Ruby, we have Jeremy and Callan. We have Sister Barb.
Sorry, that was Kate.
We have Nancy, Cain, Body of Messiah. Let's see. Andy and Elizabeth. We have a new name, Rachel Batt. Welcome to you. David Wagner. We have Elizabeth. Annette Frank, another new name. We also have Sarah Baker. Jennifer Myers, another new face. Let's see. I think, we have Sylvia and Irma and Jody. And I think that's everybody.
Okay, that's a lot. So a lot of faces we've seen, a lot of faces that are new. Thank you guys for being a part of this. And here we are. Guys, what we need to go through right here is we need to go through that we talked about last week. And a lot of people are... Check out Idaho Sky for the door and fence posts, platers, the Shema, and commandments. I don't know about that.
They have a thing. There's a company
Okay.
that has that.
Okay,
Idaho
so
Sky.
guys, the Trinity Exposed is something I wrote up years and years and years ago. And so I want to talk about this real quick because we have, as brothers and sisters, a lot of us come out of religion. And when you take religion out of the formula for the understanding that we have, then there's no place anywhere in scriptures that we would have God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit as one giant entity. And for those of us who are in Torah, we're talking Yah, Yahushua, and we're also talking the Ruach HaKodesh. Now, the concept that everybody has been given, or that the doctrine that everybody has been given, that came about in the year 325 AD. So you're talking almost 400 years after our Messiah walked the lands, as the Catholic Church got into a statement that they call the Creed of Nicaea. And inside the Creed of Nicaea, what they declare is they declare that the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit are all one entity. They say it like an egg, right? You have an egg shell, you got the yolk, and you got the fluid around the outside of it. And that is all one. We consider it one egg. But it's very, very important that we use scriptures to understand that the Trinity in of itself is not something in doctrine. Now, we already went over Deuteronomy 6, which is, "Hear, O Yisrael, our Elohim, Yahuwah is one," right? So right out of the gate, if our Creator and His Son are two, then from the very beginning of scriptures, we've been lied to right here. And so we have to discern, are we being lied to by scriptures, or are we being lied to by man? And so this is what we're going to look at right here. Now, we're going to go into Exodus 20 right here. And I don't think I'll go through all this because this is a major one, but I want to go through enough that those out there who believe that the entity of the Father and the Son are the exact same, it's not. And there's a lot of reasons why we would not want to go this route. We have people, when they believe in a Trinity, you have people that actually pray to the Holy Spirit. They will actually pray to Jesus. They will pray to something else other than where we're supposed to pray. We have scriptures and we have a historical understanding how our Creator wants us to pray. And He gave it to His Son, and His Son said something like, "Our Father who art in heaven." Right? And that was when the disciples had asked Messiah, "How do we pray?" Messiah never said, "Pray to me," right? So continuing on, in 1 John, we have this. And Yochanan, who is John the Baptist, bore witness, saying, "I have seen the Ruach coming down from the Shemaim like a dove, and remain on him. and I did not know him. But he who sent me to immerse in water said to me, upon whom you see the Ruach coming down and remaining on him, this is he who immerses in the Ruach Kodesh. And I have seen and have witnessed, this is the son of Yahuwah. This is the Ben of Yahuwah. So right out of the gate, we have another witness, right? Not only do we have the witness of Deuteronomy 6, which is the creator of the universe through the mouth of Moshe, that says he is one, but now we have John the Baptist. He says, I have witnessed this, and this witness is that it is this son of the Most High. So now we either have John lying, we have the creator of the universe lying, or we have man that is lying that has given us this kind of understanding. Let's go into 1 John, John 1:49. And it says, this is Nathanael answered and said to him, Rabbi, you are the son of Elohim. You are the sovereign, the king of Yisrael. So now we have another witness. We have Nathanael out of 1 John who's saying this is the son of the Most High. Now, what you don't have and what you will not see is you will not see people that are saying you are the Father. They don't say, nobody says God has come down. All prophecy from the beginning of the book, throughout the prophets, throughout all of scriptures, it talks about the Son coming to be our king. Now, continuing on, in John 3:35, it goes, the Father loves the Ben, right? The Father loves the Son and has given all into his hand. Okay, this would be kind of weird if the Father was the Son, and who would he give into his hand, right? It would say the Father gave the Father, and it's everything he has is his. But it doesn't say that. This is why we need to very carefully look at scriptures to decipher if the Father and the Son are the exact same people. Continuing on in 36, it says, he who believes in the Son possesses everlasting life. But he who does not obey the Son shall not see life. But the wrath of Elohim remains on him. Now, right here, it talks about Elohim, the wrath of Elohim. If we do not believe in the Son, the Father is going to give us some wrath. Okay, continuing on. We have John 4:34. Messiah Yahushua said to them, my food is to do the desire of him who sent me and to accomplish his work. Now, Messiah would be what you would call a schizophrenic right here, right? If Messiah and his dad were the exact same people, then all of these statements that he's talking about here, they're not going to hold weight, because he said his food is to do the desire of him who sent me. Who sent him, right? His dad, right? It would be something completely different. My food is to do the desire of myself. I sent myself. We have scriptures, and this is what the scriptures say. Continuing on, John 5:17. But Yahushua answered them, my Father works until now, and I work. Okay, clearly, either Messiah is schizophrenic and he thinks he's multiple people when he's not, or the scriptures are correct and the Father works as well as the Son. We're talking a couple different individuals. Now, I'm not going to go too far into this because every bit of scriptures, this goes on for pages and pages and pages, because scriptures very, very clearly, without a shadow of a doubt, never says the Father and the Son are the same individuals. Now, this is John 5:18. Because of this, then the Yahudim were seeking all the more to kill him, because not only was he breaking the Shabbat, but he also called Elohim his own father. Now, this is where they said making himself equal to Elohim. This is their viewpoint, right? He never said he was the Father. Their claim is that he made himself equal to the Father. And Messiah never says that. He never says that at all. Continuing on, John 5:19 says, therefore Yahushua responded and said to them, truly, truly, I say to you, the Ben is able to do nothing, not by himself, but only that which he sees the Father doing, because whatever he does, the Son also does likewise. Okay, again, we're the same dilemma, the same problem, conundrum right here, that if the Father and the Son are the same individuals, then somebody's either completely crazy or man is completely crazy, because they have told us this and somehow we believe it. John 5:20, for the Father loves the Son and shows him all that he himself does, and greater works than these he is going to show him. in order that you marvel, right? So we have English language that is talking about he and him and you and we, things of this nature. Let's go over two more, and then we will go into our regular reading. John 5:21. For as the Father raises the dead and makes alive, even so the Son makes alive whom he wants. This does not say the Father and the Son are the same individuals. In fact, it's very, very clear as well. Last verse, let's go over this, and maybe we'll do this every Shabbat and just try to catch those that we can in this. John 5:23, that all should value the Son even as they value the Father. He who does not value the Son does not value the Father who sent him. Okay, this is very, right? I mean, does anyone, chat, is there anybody that disputes this, right? We have this right here. It is one of these things. So I guess
we do have a new name, Babette Clemens. She says John 10:30.
John 10:30. What do we got?
That's probably in there, I think.
John 10:30 is probably going to go in there, but you know what? We'll just go right here. Let's go to John 10:30. All right, let's take a look, guys. So book, and we're right here. John 10:30.
Yeah.
10:30. Okay. Let us go. 10:30. Again, the Yahudim picked. Okay. I and the Father are one. Okay. This is absolutely beautiful. Thank you. This is actually one of these. These are one of these verses, right? That everybody goes to. There's like 5 Christian verses that everybody go to. This is one of them. Let's talk about this. Let's look at this in context, right? Let's start at 26. But you do not believe, because you are not of my sheep, as I said to you. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. And I give them understanding, Kai, and they shall by no means ever perish, and no one shall snatch them out of my hand. My Father, who has given them to me, is greater than all, and no one is able to snatch them out of my Father's hand. I and my Father are one. Again, the Yahudim picked up stones to stone him. Okay, now I'm going to start with this, and I'm going to say my wife and I are one. Now, I'm also going to say my family and I are one. Everything we do as a battle-weary group. Now, before creation was ever created, and you can find this in the book of Genesis where it talks about let's create them in our image, right? Now, the Father and the Son were together long before creation. The Torah was created, the laws of our Creator, long before creation was ever created. Now, when we say that my wife and I are one, I'm not saying that my wife and I are one. I am saying that as a group, as a tribe, as a people, we work together for the glory of the kingdom as one. Does that mean we're always coherent? No. Does that mean we're always in agreement? No. But we work as one. And so Messiah and his dad absolutely work as one. Now, let's go back to this real quick, because I guess we probably need to continue on with this real quick. So we have that, right? My Father and I are one. So we have enough. We need to keep looking through this, I suppose. John 5:23. That all should value the Son, even as they value the Father. He who does not value the Son does not value the Father who sent him. It's continuing on right here, John 5:25. Truly, truly, I say to you, the hour is coming and now is when the dead shall hear the voice of the Son of Elohim, and those having heard shall live. So as we are talking about this, if we have one single verse that we're having a problem with, then it is one of these things. And Yaked being one does not mean it's a single entity, right? The actual word, I think they were discussing that in this. Neither Yah. So David's talking, I believe that Yeshua was saying that you aren't taking them out of my hand, and neither will they. Yeah, this is the thing about the Father and the Son, is these guys work as the most dynamic duo of all time. We have never had a leader and a leader that works in so great synchronicity. So these guys, and in fact, look, guys, I'm not going to bore you on this, but guys, you guys can go to Yahuwah and the Torah. .net, and this goes on, guys. Like, let's look into this right here. Look at John 8:16. But even if I do judge, my judgment is true because I am not alone, but I and the Father who sent me, right? So right out of the gate, if you believe that the Father and the Son are the exact same entity, then do we by default right here say that Messiah is lying to us? Because he said the Father sent him. If he was the Father, then these are all a whole bunch of white lies that all of a sudden scriptures don't mean the same scriptures if we can't trust what scripture says. I trust scriptures. I do not trust man. Look at one or two more right here. John 8:18. I am one who witnesses concerning myself, and the Father who sent me witnesses concerning me. Now, for anybody who's ever read scriptures at all, we understand what witnesses is all about. You cannot condemn a man. You cannot go against a man unless you're dealing with more than one witness. This is what the same thing is true. Messiah says he is his own witness and his Father is a witness. We're talking two separate entities. The next one. Let's just John 8:19. Therefore they said to him, "Where is your Father?" Yahushua answered, "You know neither me nor my Father. If they know me, then you have known my Father also." Yeah, so I think I'm going to leave it at that. Chat room, you guys can have at this.
Do you want the last question?
What was the last question?
Then why does Jesus claim to be I am?
What do you mean? Messiah never ever claims to be the...
Are you talking about the garden? When Yeshua's in the garden and they come and get him? And
I don't know. Which one is it?
And they said, which one of you is Yehoshua of Nazareth? And he goes, I am.
Yeah, so
Is that what we're talking about?
I don't know, but scoot in so everybody can hear you, man. You're like too far out. This table's gotten a little bigger. Yeah, so there's no place in scriptures anywhere that it is. So here, let me put this over there and see if you guys can understand this. Jaden, are you my son?
I am.
You are?
I am.
Did you just say you're God?
No.
Did you say you're Elohim Most High?
No.
Why not? I just asked you if you're my son, and you said I am.
That means that I
You're
am
not
your
saying
son.
you're my God. You're not God?
No.
Oh, you're just saying that you're my son.
Yes.
Okay. So there we go. A little bit of an example based upon that. All right. So let us get into the thing that we do every Shabbat, which is our laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator. And these are things that are super exciting. These are things that are the unbondage. If you're looking at something that will make your life completely free, that will make your world free, that will change your entire journey in this world, these are it. These laws, statutes, and commandments. Okay, so guys, and this is actually what we're doing right here is we are filling a Deuteronomy 6:4 commandment, which says we need to write this on our heart, on our mind, and our soul. And so let us begin right here. Commandment 1. Be fruitful.
Multiply.
Replenish the earth.
Subdue it, have dominion over the fish, fowl, and every living creature.
They are bearing, and every tree is for food.
Men and women should build their own families.
Master sin.
Every clean moving thing that lives shall be food for you.
Do not eat the blood.
Walk before me and be perfect.
Guard Yahuwah's covenant, laws, statutes, and commandments.
Every male shall be circumcised at 8 days old.
Teach your children the commands and guard the way of Yahuwah.
Remember Yahuwah's name for all generations.
Keep the Passover.
Keep the feast of unleavened bread, festival of Matzah.
There is one Torah for the stranger and one for the Hebrew.
Sanctify all firstborn to Yahuwah.
There are no mighty ones before Yahuwah.
You shall not make graven images.
Do not bring Yahuwah's name, do not.
Keep the Shabbat.
Do not honor your parents.
Do not kill.
Do not break wedlock.
Do not steal.
Do not make false accusations against your neighbor.
Do not covet anything of your neighbors.
Do not make an altar from rock that tool has touched.
Do not go up the altar by the steps.
If a man steals cattle, he shall destroy it 5 times.
Yahuwah's laws for criminals.
Do not lie with beasts.
No sacrifice to other Elohim.
Do not oppress a stranger, fatherless, or widow.
Do not charge your brother interest.
If you borrow your neighbor's raiment, return it to him before sunset.
Do not curse the ruler of your people.
Do not eat what is torn of any beast.
No false report.
Do not follow a multitude of evil.
Do not judge righteously against the poor.
Bring back your enemy's cattle if you find it going astray.
Help the animals of your enemy.
Stay away from rumors and gossipers.
Take no bribes.
Do not oppress a stranger. Love the stranger.
Give your land rest in the 7th year.
Do not mention any pagan names.
Keep the feast of Yahuwah.
Do not cook your goat in his mother's milk.
Obey the messenger Yahuwah sends before you.
Do not bow down to other Elohim.
Serve Yahuwah.
Make no covenant with other Elohim or outsiders of the land.
Do not make the use of anointing oil on a normal person. Do not make the use of perfume on a normal person.
Do not eat the fat.
Do what you say you're going to do.
Return what is your neighbor's.
Obey Yahuwah's dietary laws.
Women's time of separation.
Obey Yahuwah's hygiene laws.
Keep the Day of Atonement, Yom HaKippurim.
Do not uncover the nakedness of your family.
Do not take your woman's sister for wife.
Do not lie with a woman for uncleanness.
You shall not sacrifice your children to Moloch.
Do not be a sodomite.
Be holy.
You know, I was talking to, so for those who do not know, Yah Scriptures, we kind of accidentally became a prison ministry. We had no intention when we first started trying to crush evil that was attacking the people of Yah with the Hallelujah Scriptures. That was never our intention ever to be inside of prisons. And now that we are inside of prisons, 4 of my 7 and a tremendous amount of time sitting here typing back to the brothers and sisters in chains. And I just got into a conversation this morning about Planned Parenthood and the entire system. And one of these brothers in chains, he's on death row. He had he was kind of going off about how Planned Parenthood was kind of an okay thing and how it kind of neat. And I went back to this and I said, my brother, number one is, and these guys are on death row for killing people, right? That's what we're talking about. And so this particular thing is killing people, right? We're talking about killing babies, and we're talking about putting our babies into the mouths of Moloch and a false deity, right? And that's the thing, that we live in a world right now, and as I was discussing with him, because abortion has become what it has become, it's like mainstream. And even in North America, when a couple states took it out, you can just go and you run to the next state and kill your kids. And it's like one of these things. In fact, you can even take pills and just kill the kids, one of the overnight pills. So we have been offering our children to Moloch for a very, very long time. And so this commandment right here, this is not something for the old days. If you think that you have to have some giant idol in a fire, and you have to drop the baby into the fire to make this happen, we've come a long ways in a technological field, and it seems like the idols and the operation tables of Moloch are simply the stainless steel tables that they hook the women up to, where they grind the babies out of them, kill them into little pieces. And then, from Planned Parenthood, then these people were selling off all the baby parts to the highest bidder for all of these pharmaceutical stuff, all these things out there. And it's one of those things, most people don't realize this. And I mean, I'm sure abortion's been talked about forever, but that is offering your children up to Moloch. That is breaking a commandment. It doesn't matter who it is, where it is. There's never an okay time to offer your child up to Moloch. I would even say, I would be the guy that said, even if your life is in danger, I would not exterminate your child for that. If it were me and I was a woman, I would exterminate my life and the life of my child, that I could bear a child into this world. So we have to understand that these laws of our Creator, when you're in a Christian religion, or your religion says the laws of our Creator don't matter to us anymore, then things like this, offering our children up to Moloch, when it happens day after day, especially in North America, hundreds of thousands of babies die a month in that. So these are the commandments that are good for all times, and that we have to be, as a covenanted people, we don't want to be those people that have offered our children up to Moloch. Okay, continuing on. Do not be a sodomite.
Do not be holy.
What do you got, Mr. Cole?
Babette has another question.
Oh.
How is one saved?
How's one saved? That's very amazing, because that is the same thing that I've had brothers and sisters in chains that write me, and they say, where is salvation? And I point them to Revelation 14:12. I won't be able to find my place back here, but I'm going to go to Revelation 14:12 anyway. I'm going here. See, I love the live readings, because we can all blast off, go over here. This is where I believe that you can find what salvation is, right? There's no other place in Scriptures that tells us exactly this exact thing right here. But if we're looking at what salvation is in Revelation 14:12, well, here it is. Here's the endurance of the saints, right? Here, the saints. Who are the saints? Well, the saints are the people that are keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator. Here are those guarding the commands of Yahuwah. Okay, so we have one way right there. Continuing to Revelations, those who are guarding the commands of Yahuwah. Sorry. But it's a one-way street. I'm dying here. Dying right on this verse. It's good. Hold on, taking a drink. Okay. So we have those who are guarding the commands, and then we have the belief of Yahushua. So right out of the gate, it's the commandment keepers and those who have the faith of our Messiah. Now, why is the faith of Messiah important? Well, number one is Messiah is our king. He's our priest. He's our sacrifice. He's our friend. He's our brother. Those are all things that he said. He's like, how do you know who my brothers and sisters and mother are? Messiah says those who are guarding the commands of Yahuwah. Now, it's a two-way street. And this is the amazing thing, where we're talking to our brothers and sisters in chains. Here, go ahead and find me back on the Torah while I'm talking, please. when I'm talking to our brothers and sisters in chains, I have literally, in the last 3 weeks, we have brothers who are on death row who have done extraordinarily evil things. They hated religion. I just sit there and talk to them just a little bit. These guys are so open to scriptures, and people are so open to when you can show them a different thing than religion. All of us have been so indoctrinated to these religions. We have these Jehovah's Witnesses come knocking on our door. You got the Mormons tapping everywhere. You got all these people that believe that they have found the way to salvation, and not a single one of them will ever tell you that there's value in these laws, statutes, and commandments. So, sis, or brother, whoever was talking about that, what I believe salvation is walking according to the laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator, which we are reading right here. And we have the faith of Messiah Yahushua, and we put his words to use, because his words are the same as his dad's. He reiterates everything his dad said. Okay, let's continue on, fellas. Anyone?
Do not reap the corners of your field, or you shall not glean your vineyard.
Do not deal falsely or defraud your neighbor.
Do not lie or be a liar. Pay your workers for the day's wage they are due.
Do not harm the disabled.
And this, I gotta break in, guys. This is gonna be a long one here. Do not harm the disabled. I was talking to dear old mom. Dear old mom is a hardcore Christian all her life and everything like that. For the first time, I think ever, and I did send her. We sent her a Yah Scriptures, and she looks at it, and I talked to her. I said, Mom, there's a couple of commands here that, as a Christian, if things like don't harm the disabled, that we're supposed to take care of them. It's very dangerous. These are laws that, as Christians or as anyone in religion, we don't know this, because we put no value on the first 5 books of scriptures, and we put 100% value on the words of Rabbi Shaul. Now, before everyone starts beating me down for saying Rabbi Shaul, I'm not endorsing Rabbi Shaul. That is what he went by. He was a rabbi of the time. I'm not calling him rabbi. He's just a man. And the thing is, when we are taking the words of just a man and making it doctrine, and we're not holding any value to the words that our Creator has said to us by the words of Moshe, then we are not walking according to what he says we should walk. Okay, continuing on. Do not endanger your neighbor.
Do not hate your brother.
Rebuke your neighbor for his sin.
Love your neighbor as yourself.
Do not divert your cattle.
Do not mingle your seed.
Do not mingle linen and wool.
Do not lie with a taken woman.
Do not eat the fruit of the tree for 3 years.
Do not practice sorcery.
Do not round your beard or the corners of your head.
Do not cut yourself for the dead.
Do not get tattoos.
Do not prostitute your daughter.
Do not defile your temple.
Do not consult the medium.
Respect your elders.
Have correct weights and measures.
Do not walk in the manners of the nations.
Keep the feast of first fruit, Shavuot, Omer Count, Pentecost.
Keep the feast of trumpets, Yom Teruah.
Keep the feast of coat, Shemini Atzeret.
If you blaspheme the name of Yahuwah, you shall be put to death.
If you kill your neighbor's animal, you must give him another.
Repay injury for injury.
Honor the Obel, the Jubilee year.
Confess your sins to Yahuwah and repay who you have trespassed against.
The law of being a Nazir.
Wear easy on the 4 corners of your garments.
The law is whoever touches a corpse.
Follow Yahuwah's law of inheritance.
The Torah of keeping your oath to Yahuwah.
Do not add or take away from the word.
Okay, very important, guys. Deuteronomy 4:2. If any of our indoctrination that we have at all, say for instance, you believe that you should be worshiping on the sun day, Sol Victus, the day of the sun, we shouldn't, right? There's nowhere, anywhere in scriptures, from the front of the book to the end of the book, there's nowhere, even if you think you're worshiping on the Lord's day, even if you think that somehow the 7th day has been changed to another day because somehow you believe that Messiah rose on that day and so that day is now your Sabbath, that is the indoctrination of religion. So if we are doing this, if we are worshiping on the wrong day, if we have any of these indoctrinations that are of men, let's say, for instance, we think that all food has been made clean. We have Leviticus 11 that is a dietary guideline law. So if we believe all food has been made clean, then we have added to the word of our Creator, and we have done just that. Okay, continuing on. One thing that I talk about to my kids all the time, and sometimes they have a really, really hard time doing this. Sometimes I have a very, very hard time doing this. Sometimes us as a collective, we have a hard time doing this because we're humans and we do very human things that is not kingdom people ready. Guard your soul. Guys, very simple command, but how do you guard your soul? Well, you don't guard it by being in a religion. You guard it by looking at the laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator and keeping them part of your life, keeping them part of everything that you do. So you won't guard your soul by worshiping on a Sunday. You're not guarding your soul by eating pig. You're not guarding your soul by hanging out with the Gentiles who are doing all sorts of worldly evil stuff. continue on. You have something?
Babette has another question.
Hi, Babette.
So if you want to follow the Torah, are you okay with stoning people and having laws for slaves?
Yes, absolutely. I would totally stone people. I would, if somebody did evil, I would take them outside the city gates and I would kill them. This is the world we are supposed to live in. Do we live in this world? No. Will you go to jail for stoning people outside the city gates? Yes. Do we live under a law-based world and society? No. But in the kingdom to come, if you want to be a part of the people of our Creator, and there's evil in our midst, people are going to pick up rocks and they're going to chuck them at people, right? That is what it is. I would absolutely love to live under a Torah-based society where everyone is based in Torah. There would be no more issues like we have right now, right? The world would not be there like it is. So I know that's a harsh answer to that, but I absolutely would. I would be the people that pick up the rocks and get rid of that and try to keep our communities as clean and close to Torah as possible. Okay, continue on.
Learn to fear Yahuwah.
You shall love Yahuwah with all your heart.
Bind the laws, put your hand in the front between your eyes.
Write the laws on your doorpost.
Do not tempt Yahuwah.
Do what is right and good in the sight of Yahuwah.
Okay, let's go back real quick. Do not tempt Yahuwah. I got to touch on this, right? When we're eating pig, we're tempting Yahuwah. When we worship on the wrong day, we're tempting Yahuwah. When we're not in covenant, we're tempting Yahuwah, right? If we want to be a covenant people, our Creator walks in a certain way. He walks in a certain fashion. His people walk in a certain way, in a certain fashion. And it's sad because everybody from back in the days, the reason the northern tribes and the southern tribes all went into captivity is because they did not keep the laws, statutes, and commandments. They tempted Yahuwah, right? It didn't matter which king they were. They could never get rid of their Asherah poles. They could never get rid of their high places. They could never get rid of the sins of Yisrael. And here we are today. More than likely, a lot of us are the northern tribe of Yisrael because the northern tribes of Israel never came back. And so when they didn't come back from captivity, and in the end days, especially Hebrews 8, a lot of people the Christians will take Hebrews 8 and go, look right there, this is us. Hebrews 8 doesn't have a house of Gentile, and it definitely doesn't have a house of Christian. It doesn't have any other house. It has two houses. And the thing about Hebrews 8 is it talks about a people in the future where everybody knows the Torah. Everybody knows the law, statutes, and commandments. You don't have to teach it to your brother. You don't have to teach it to your neighbor. They all know. That's just what the world is supposed to be like, and that's what the kingdom journey is going to be like, guys. When Messiah Yahushua brings us all over to the Mount Zion and to the city of Elohim that comes out of that, everybody's going to be a Torah keeper. None of this is going to be a surprise. If you make it to the kingdom, it's going to be people that are Torah keeping and that have the faith of Messiah Yahushua. Okay, continuing on. Do what is right and good in the sight of Yahuwah.
Do not be afraid of your enemies.
Remember Yahuwah.
Circumcise your heart.
Live Yahuwah.
Swear by his name.
Destroy graven images.
Do not make an idol of Yahuwah as the pagans do their Elohim.
Rejoice in all Yahuwah has blessed you with.
Do what is right and good in your own eyes.
No,
Wait,
you're not.
Do
whoa. Hold on. Gentile what?
Do not do what is right in your own eyes.
Thank you.
Do not hearken the words of the false prophets.
Do not make any boldness between your eyes for the dead.
You shall not eat any abominable thing.
You shall give to a stranger clean food that died of itself, but you shall not eat of it.
Give tithe of your increase of seed year by year.
Laws the end of the 7-year lease.
Do not borrow from the nations.
Do not harden your heart nor shut your hand from the poor.
Guard month one of Yahuwah's calendar.
Yeah, okay. So Jeremy's exactly right. Stoning people not only saved that person, but saved others as well when death is a punishment. Guys, here's something that everybody needs to understand. When it sounds extremely harsh, that yes, I would pick up the rocks and I would chuck them at people who are breaking Torah. Guys, we talk to brothers and sisters in chains that have been on death row for 4 decades, 39 years, and they still don't have an execution date. This is not based on Torah. We are not supposed to take those who do evil and lock them up for 4 decades and have that psychological madness, right? The people I talk to, they don't know when they're going to die. They're in the middle of appeals. One lady, Kimberly, is about to be executed in the beginning of 2025. These are the sisters that we are talking to, and these are hardcore things. As a criminal, I would much rather be taken outside the city gates and killed with a bunch of rocks and have this torturous setup done and me go off to a county than have to sit there for decades and decades. So there is a reason, and a good reason, why you get rid of people with the rocks. Unfortunately, we're not in a Torah-based world. Okay,
She has two things.
All right, what you got?
The first one is Jesus rebuked Pharisees for trying to stone the woman caught in adultery, but they didn't bring both the people.
Okay, yeah. So let's talk about that real quick, guys. So the story, the situation is a woman was brought before Messiah Yahushua, right? And the woman was accused of adultery. And so Messiah Yahushua, they said, what do we do? Should we stone her? And he starts writing down in the ground, right? He starts writing stuff in the dirt. Nobody knows exactly what he's writing, but whatever he's writing is tripping everybody around them out. Everybody starts leaving. Everybody starts going away. And when he looks up, Messiah's like, all your accusers are gone. And the problem with this, my friends, is that all of these so-called people that just accused this woman broke the Torah in attempts to accuse the woman. Number one, if you have somebody that is caught in adultery, you bring the man and you bring the woman, and at the behest of the witnesses, both of them are out and you kill them with the rocks, right? That is what you do. So they brought the woman without the man, and so they broke Torah trying to get something done. Anyone who knows Torah knows we do not do things without at least 2 or 3 witnesses to make a matter established. Something else?
Her other thing is, what about Jesus healing on the Sabbath? And then she says, show me one verse where it says it's lawful to heal on the Sabbath. And
Well,
Jeremy says, show me one where it says it's against it.
Well, that's the thing, is the Pharisees and Sadducees were also like, show us this. You can't be healing on the commandment. Guys, when we talk about scriptures, when you read all of the scriptures, Messiah has cleared this entire thing up. And in fact, the book of Nazarene talks about it. Messiah says, if it's to do good on a Shabbat, should we do it? Is if we don't do it, that it's evil. You guys understand what I mean? What this means is that if you have a neighbor that calls you and it's a Shabbat, you're keeping Shabbat, and it is a Shabbat, and something tragic has happened, they've lost something, it's an emergency. That is our job as loving our neighbor as ourselves. Even on a Shabbat, that if there's some kind of an emergency like that, there are times in the Shabbat where our Creator and His Son have done things outside of it, and there's sometimes that we will have to do things outside of it, because if we didn't do it, it would be evil. Imagine that neighbor fell down and you don't go over to her house on Shabbat. After sunset, you go over there and she's on the ground dead, right? So because we would not walk to our neighbor's house on a Shabbat, we did it. That's the same concept with Messiah Yahushua, right? We have a broken man, and Messiah talks clearly about this. Okay, let's go in. What else we got?
I believe we're on 3 times a year, all males shall appear before Yahuwah.
You shall make judges and officers in all your gates.
Do not plant Asherah poles near the altar.
There must be 2 or 3 witnesses.
Aha, let's do that again. There must be 2 or 3 witnesses, right? And a matter is established at the behest of multiple witnesses. Right there, this is what all of those guys who accused this lady of adultery, they forgot to bring the other guy. They only witnessed against a woman, but they didn't bring the actual fella. So they messed up. So Messiah isn't going to harm the woman when they didn't even do their own setup right. Okay, hearken unto the Nabai, prophet Yahuwah has chosen.
Prophet tested Deuteronomy.
Do not remove your neighbor's property line.
How to deal with false witness among Torah keepers.
The first child is the adult portion.
If your brother's cattle or clothes are lost, and you find them, you must return them.
A woman shall not wear what pertains to a man, or a man wear what pertains to a woman.
If you find a bird's nest with the mother and the babies or eggs, take the babies but not the mother.
If you build a new house with a flat roof that you haven't lived on, you must put a railing around it.
Do not be a prostitute.
Do not use dirty money.
The law of divorce.
Do not take a person's millstone for a pledge.
If you lend your brother, do not enter his house to get payment. He must bring it to you. Return his clothing before sunset. That was his pledge.
Do not oppress a hired servant that is poor and needy.
Every man shall be put to death for his own sin.
Do not go back to the forgotten sheep in the field. Leave it for the stranger, fatherless, and widow.
Do not muzzle your ox when he treads out grain.
If your brother dies and has no child, you shall take his wife and the firstborn after your brother.
At the end of 7 years, you will read the Torah at the Feast of Sukkot, the Feast of Tabernacles.
Okay, so there we go. We are definitely going longer than we've gone, maybe a record for today, which is good. So we like reading scriptures, and we hope that you guys like listening to scriptures. Scriptures are amazing. They are the guideposts for life. Now, Jay just got up right before the recap, which he always does, so I will wait for him to actually recap this. And so here we are. Jade, we're everybody's
getting a drink. Hold
he's
on.
getting a drink, but he does this so he doesn't have to recap this. Oh, okay. Says he's just thirsty. Maybe that's true. Okay. All right, Jade. So let's recap where we are at. Let's go from the days of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Let's talk about it, and let's go to where we are with Leviticus right here.
Israelites went into slavery. They're there 400 years. Yahuwah sent Moses, who was born in Egypt. He killed an Egyptian, left out into a land, came back after he was 80 years old. Yahuwah sent him back into the land of Egypt to go free his people. He met him in a burning bush to go free my people. You're going to be that. You will tell them that I am Yahuwah. And he says to go free his people. He goes, I'm not a very good person that speaks very well. And he says, I'll send you your brother there, and he can speak for you, and he can be the guy that speaks and talks to, and you'll just lead the people. And then he goes and frees the people. He does 10 plagues. They kill a lot of the Egyptians. They kill the firstborn of all of Egypt. They kill their cattle and their crops, and their land is completely destroyed by the time they leave out. Then a whole bunch of the soldiers get wiped out in the Red Sea when they try to cross it. They went into some wars getting out of the land of Egypt, and then they went to the mountain Sinai, and Moses went up to go get the 10 Commandments. Yahuwah got 2 stones for him, he wrote the command. He heard a noise down in the camp. Moses went down to see what it was, and the people had gone astray, and the golden calf was being built and danced around, and so Moses was angry, threw the stones that Yahuwah had made to the ground, broke them. He went and killed 3,000 people. Moses went back up to the mountain, had to go find new stones, and Yahuwah wrote the commands again. He learned all the commands, how to build the temple, the blueprints for the temple, and all the designs, and all the people that will help build it. And then he's learning about Levitical commands, where we are now. We are learning what the Levites have to do and how they have to do their sacrifice, how they have to stay holy. And so we are in the book of Leviticus, which is mostly about Levites.
Okay, so here we are. The book of Leviticus, and it's very important. It's important that we know what our Messiah is, and our Messiah became pretty much the priesthood, right? That's what the Levites were there for during this time, was to be an intermediary between man and to Elohim. And so when we ended up with our Messiah, it's not a big deal that we don't have Levites. It's not a big deal that we don't do sacrifices. None of that's a big deal, because we have a very qualified Melchizedek priest who is before us, who's waiting, and he's waiting on the kingdom to come. So here we are, guys, Leviticus 13. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe and to Aaron, saying, when a man has on the skin of his body a swelling, a scab, or a bright spot, and it shall become on the skin of the body like a leprous infection, then he shall be brought to Aaron the Kohanim, or to one of his sons the Kohanim. And the Kohanim shall look at the infection on the skin of the body. And if the hair on the infection is turned white, and the infection appears to be deeper than the skin of his body, it is a leprous infection. And the Kohanim shall look at him and pronounce him unclean. But if the bright spot is white on the skin of his body and does not appear to be deeper than the skin, and its hair has not turned white, then the Kohanim shall shut up the infected one 7 days. All right, so what are we dealing with here, guys?
We're dealing with leprosy. We're dealing with a big sickness that was very, very big back in their times.
Yeah, it's very big. But what are the Kohanim acting as here?
Doctors,
physicians. Yeah, absolutely. This is the doctors of the days. Is who we are having right here, and these guys are very qualified because they know a lot of this stuff, and this is like excellent information to have. Okay, continuing on. 6. And the Kohanim shall look at him again on the 7th day and see if the infection has darkened and the infection has not spread on the skin, then the Kohanim shall pronounce him clean. It is a scab, and he shall wash his garments and be clean. But if the scab spreads further over the skin, after he has been seen by the Kohanim for his cleansing, he shall be seen by the Kohanim again. And the Kohanim shall look and see. If the scab is spread on the skin, and the Kohanim shall pronounce him unclean, it is leprosy. When the infection of leprosy is on a man, then he shall be brought to the Kohanim. And the Kohanim shall look and see. If the swelling on the skin is white, and it has turned the hair white, and there is a spot of raw flesh in the swelling, it is an old leprosy on the skin of his body, and the Kohanim shall pronounce him unclean. He does not shut him up, for he is unclean. And if leprosy breaks out all over the skin, and the leprosy shall cover all the skin of the infected one from his head to his foot, wherever the Kohanim looks, then the Kohanim shall look and see. If the leprosy hasn't covered all his body, he shall pronounce the infected one clean. It has all turned white. He is clean. But the day raw flesh appears on him, he is unclean. All right. So what do we make of leprosy? It's like it's a skin-borne disease.
Yeah, something like that. I don't think it's contagious though.
I don't think it's contagious unless people touch it, right? That's the thing, is you have the Kohanim here, but we know it's contagious because people were shifted outside the camp, right?
Well, I think they're unclean because like pussing on blood, so you can't like touch it. That's unclean. It makes you unclean.
Yeah, I don't know if leprosy is contagious. Anyone in the chat know if leprosy is actually contagious? There's a lot of stuff. I won't get into it because I think we're about to read into this. I don't know if it's This is okay. 15. And the Kohen shall look at the raw flesh and pronounce him to be unclean. The raw flesh is unclean, it is leprosy. Or when the raw flesh changes and turns white again, he shall come to the Kohen.
Sister Barb says, yes, it is contagious.
It is contagious. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, that's obviously something that you want to do. The thing was here, as far as being contagious, it must not be contagious enough that you can't look at it or something of the sort, right? It's probably something that if you, if you have flesh hanging off of you and it's all pussy and all sorts of stuff, you're obviously probably going to mess up with other folks. So probably something you don't want to have. 17. And the Kohen shall look at him and see. If the infection is turned white, then the Kohen shall pronounce the infected one clean. He is clean. And when the body has a boil in the skin and it is healed, and in the place of the boil there comes a white swelling or a bright spot, reddish white, then it shall be seen by the Kohen. And the Kohen shall look and see. If it appears deeper than the skin and its hair has turned white, the Kohen shall pronounce him unclean. It is a leprous infection which is broken out of the boil. So I think the hair turning white is, I think, like it's dead. Like that particular follicle is dead, is what I would imagine they're seeing. And so can you imagine that if you guys were way back in the day and you wake up in the morning, you see some like flesh on you, and all of a sudden it's like your life and everything you know is going to be completely changed. You're on your way to see the priest, right? You got to see what this is.
Yeah.
21.
So Irma Googled it. Since it's not highly contagious, it's not spread through casual contact, but it is contagious.
Yeah, and I would bet as people are festering out and their sores are out, I bet that's where there's a lot of contagion. Whatever it is, I should probably study up on what exactly leprosy. Google, yes. Okay, thanks, guys. Yeah, Google is a contagion. I agree completely, absolutely. All right, don't kill our stream, please. Here we go. 21. But if the Kohen looks at it and sees no white hairs in it, and it is not deeper than the skin, but has faded, then the Kohen shall shut him up 7 days. And if he has spread further over the skin, then the Kohen shall pronounce him unclean. It is a leprous infection. But if the bright spot stays in its place, it is not spread. It is the scar of the boil, and the Kohen shall pronounce him clean. Or when the body receives a burn on its skin by fire, and the raw flesh of the burn shall become a bright spot, reddish white or white, then the Kohen shall look at it and see if the hair of the bright spot has turned white and it appears deeper than the skin, it is leprosy broken out in the burn. And the Kohen shall pronounce him unclean. It is a leprous infection. All right, we can get a lot from this, I think. I think we can learn a tremendous amount on this thing. So it sounds like that even from a injury, it sounds like, from a burn or an injury, that leprosy can happen, which is definitely some sort of almost like an infection or something that takes on that you get owned with. So obviously back in the days when you got completely something burned, like a big burn might be something very, very dangerous if it pops out and you got leprosy right there. Okay, 26. But if the Kohen looks at it and sees there are no white hairs in the bright spot, and it is not deeper than the skin, but has faded, then the Kohen shall shut him up 7 days. And the Kohen shall look at him on the 7th day. If it spreads further over the skin, then the Kohen shall pronounce him unclean. It is a leprous infection. But if the bright spot stays in its place and has not spread on the skin, but has faded, it is a dwelling from the burn. It is swelling from the burn. And the Kohen shall pronounce him clean, for it is the scar from the burn. And when a man or a woman has an infection on the head or in the beard, then the Kohen shall look at the infection and see. If it appears deeper than the skin and there is yellow hair in it, then the Kohen shall pronounce him unclean. It is an eruption, a leprosy of the head or beard. This is very interesting, right? A lot of you guys aren't bearded folks, but as a bearded person, I can tell you that a regular face zit isn't the same as you guys without beards. You don't actually even see the zit. You have no idea what's going on underneath the beard, but all of a sudden out of nowhere, it'll start itching, right? You'll start itching it, and all of a sudden your fingers get all pussy, right? All of a sudden there was this big old honking zit probably underneath the beard, and you sit there and rip that out. Too much information? Probably. But let's continue on with this, because those are the kind of things right there. Back in the days, if I had something underneath of it, I would be heading up to the Kohen right now to figure out what in the world's going on under this beard. I wouldn't know. You'd have to have somebody qualified to look at it. Okay, 31. But when the Kohen looks at the infection of the eruption and sees that it does not appear deeper than the skin and there is no black hair on it, then the Kohen shall shut the infection of the eruption 7 days. And on the 7th day, the Kohen shall look at the infection and see if the eruption has not spread and there is no yellow hair in it, and the eruption does not appear deeper than the skin, then he shall shave himself, but the eruption he does not shave. And the Kohen shall shut up the eruption another 7 days. So more understanding of exactly what it is, right? Sometimes you shave it off, sometimes you don't shave it off, especially where the sore was. 34. And on the 7th day, the Kohen shall look at the eruption and see. If the eruption has not spread over the skin and does not appear deeper than the skin, then the Kohen shall pronounce him clean, and he shall wash his garments, and he shall be clean. But if the eruption spreads further over the skin after his cleansing, then the Kohen shall look at him and see. If the eruption has spread over the skin, the Kohen need not seek for yellow hair. He is unclean. Okay, so you can just basically see if the sores of the leprosy are just basically taking you over. That's I think what they're looking for. 37. But if the eruption appears to have stayed and there is black hair grown up in it, the eruption has healed. He is clean, and the Kohen shall pronounce him clean. And when a man or woman has bright spots on the skin of the body, white bright spots, then the Kohen shall look and see. If the bright spots on the skin of the body are dull white, it is a white spot that grows on the skin. He is unclean. So my only question is, what if you're old and your hair's already white? So that's going to be something. I'm sure they have a way to figure this out, but not everybody has like dark hairs. Okay, continuing on. And when a man or woman has bright spots on the skin of the body, white bright spots, then the Kohen shall look and see. If the bright spots on the skin of the body are dull white, it is a white spot that grows on the skin. He is clean. And when a man loses the hair of his head, he is bald. He is clean. And if the hair has fallen from his forehead, he is bald on the forehead. He is clean. Okay, so what does this just talk about here, guys?
Eyebrows?
Now, if a man loses the hair of his head, he is bald. That's clear. He is clean. Okay?
Going bald's a good thing.
I don't know about that. Maybe. At least you don't have to have haircuts. Continuing on, but 41 says, and if the hair has fallen from his forehead, he is bald on the forehead, he is clean. So I don't know if we are losing eyebrows or something. Let's continue on. 42. And when there is on the bald head or bald forehead a reddish white infection, it is leprosy breaking out on his bald head or his bald forehead. And
Why you gotta say it like that?
Huh?
Why you gotta say it like that?
Well, to keep it clear, right? You'd absolutely know. I mean, if you got some dude no hair, there's ways to fix that as well. 43. And the Kohen shall look and see if the swelling of the infection is a reddish white on his bald head or on his bald forehead, as the appearance of leprosy on the skin of the body. He is a leprous man. He is unclean. The Kohen shall pronounce him unclean without fail. His infection is on his head. All right, so any one of you guys remember anyone in scriptures that has a bald head?
I do.
Anyone?
Yeah,
you know? Do you know? Does anyone know more than one person that we know of in scripture that is bald?
I don't think I mentioned anybody. I don't remember anybody else, the same person you mentioned. I remember one.
Yeah, so you guys in the chat room, there is somebody who's bald. Anyone want to try to remember that? And we'll get back to that. Pop that in there if you guys can remember. There you go. Stella got it.
There's some incidents about being bald.
Yeah, Stella got it. Yeah, so and then he wasn't too happy about the bald head though. You know what I mean? He sent the bears after them. So okay, 46. Actually, no. He's leprous. The Kohen shall pronounce him unclean. 45. As for the leper who has the infection, his garments are torn and his head is uncovered, and he has to cover his upper lip and cry, unclean, unclean. He is unclean. All the days he has the infection, he is unclean. He is unclean, and he dwells alone. His dwelling place is outside the camp. Now, why is this guy sitting outside the camp screaming unclean, unclean?
Because he's unclean. His leprosy has gotten too far,
What?
and it will destroy the camp. Now it's just like somewhere it's dangerous.
So
to run out.
what he could potentially do what to people?
Get him sick.
You hear him say he murdered somebody accidentally, right? Second degree murder, something of that sort, because he didn't yell out. I mean, and what are you going to do if you hear some dude out by a rock yelling unclean?
You're not going to really go near that.
You're not going to go near where that thing is. Like, yell from a distance, you need any food? Are you hungry? Something of the sort. But yeah, that's it. 47. And when a garment has an infection of leprosy in it, in a woolen garment or a linen garment or a warp or in the weft of linen or wool or in leather or in any leather work, and the infection shall be greenish or reddish in the garment or in the leather or in the warp or in the weft or in any leather object, it is an infection of leprosy and shall be shown to the Kohen. So now we're talking.
It sounds like mold. More like mold.
It could be mold. It could be something like this, but it's like super mold, I think.
Greenish and red. That definitely sounds.
I know that mold has like a bad rap, but I think it's like more like a U.S. mind control thing, maybe. I'm not saying it's not bad. I'm just saying that everybody in the world thinks they have mold in their house and they think they're all dying from it. And we live in a world of mold down here. So it's just the way it is. Okay, continuing on. Where's that, fellas? 50?
Yeah, I think so. 49.
Okay, yeah, so basically, from what we understand in scriptures, this leprosy can be moved to stuff, right? Your clothes get infected with it. We also know from, I don't know if it says in this chapter, but we know the house can be infected with it as well. Okay, 50. And the Kohen shall look at the infection and shut up the infection 7 days. And he shall look at the infection on the seventh day, and when the infection has spread in the garment, or in the warp, or in the weft, or in the leather, or any leather work, the infection is an active leprosy, it is unclean. So this is something interesting, right? That whatever this sickness is, leprosy, is able to actively grow and become worse in things like it even says wool, says leather work. We know that in the how it can grow in the houses. So I mean, this is like one of these super plagues. It's not something to be messed with. 52. And he shall burn that garment, or the warp, or the weft, in wool, or in linen, or any leather object in which the infection is, for it is an active leprosy. It is burned with fire. But if the Kohen looks and sees that the infection has not spread in the garment, or in the warp, or in the weft, or in any leather object, then the Kohen shall give him command. Shall give him command, and they shall wash that which is they shall wash that in which the infection is, and he shall shut it up another 7 days. Now, do you think having Clorox back in these days that kills supposedly 99% of all this stuff, do you think that would kill the leprosy? Is that
Might have done something.
Yeah, it's probably better just to get rid of it. Okay, 55. And the Kohen shall look at the infection after it has been washed and see. If the infection has not changed its appearance, though the infection has not spread, it is unclean, and burn it in the fire. It is eaten away in its inside or outside. And the Kohen shall look and see that the infection has faded after washing it, then he shall tear it out of the garment, or out of the warp, or out of the weft, or out of the leather. And if it is still seen in the garment, or in the warp, or in the weft, or any leather object in which is spreading infection, burn it with fire. That is which the infection is. Now, I'm going to put this out there to the chat room, because I know you guys would probably know this. What is a warp and what is a weft? Sister Barb probably has an answer to that, or anyone. Let's continue on. 59, right?
58.
58. And if you wash the garment, or the warp, or the weft, or any leather object, if the infection has disappeared from it, then it shall be washed a second time and shall be clean. This is the Torah of the infection of leprosy in a garment of wool or linen, or in the warp, or in the weft, or in any leather object, to pronounce it clean, or to pronounce it unclean. All right.
It says weft is stitching, he believes.
Okay, that could be. I get that. Okay, all right, guys. So now we are heading into the book of Matthew, and this is again this is an amazing book. This is all the Besorah is simply amazing. Stella says, in weaving the crosswise threads on a loom over and under which are threads, the warp. Okay, sweet. Thank you guys very, very much. I would not have known that unless I Googled it. And I don't need Google because I got you guys. You guys are way better than the Google. Okay, so here we are, Matthew 13. Jade, can you please give me a breakdown of where we are at, what's happened to this point? Matthew 1, we have Messiah born, we have his lineage. What's happening?
He's been going through the place of Israel and been teaching, healing, bringing the Torah back to people, showing them a better way than what they are. The Gentiles, they're in Babylon, now they're in Roman captivity. They're under Herod, and the people are sinning. He tried teaching in his own hometown, and they thought he was crazy because he came back after going off and learning for a few years. Then he went out and got his disciples, and he's been going around, and he's been going to people that are not Israelites, but they have more faith than the Israelites themselves. They do not want to believe Joshua is the Messiah. They don't want to believe he's a teacher or a prophet or anything. So he has been going around and only helping those with faith, right? Those who have true faith, he's been helping. So he leaves the towns that don't have faith, and he clears that. He goes around doing miracles and teaches and gives good lessons and bases everything he does upon the Torah.
Yeah, and this is our leader, guys. This is our king. This is King Messiah. This is King Yahushua. This is, I cannot wait. I hope I have the opportunity to meet him. I hope I am qualified for this kingdom road, and I will keep trying. All of us will keep trying until we see if we are able to hang out with Messiah. But these are the words of Messiah. Continue on. 13:1. And on that day, Yahushua went out of the house and sat by the sea, and large crowds were gathered together to him, so that he went into a boat and sat down, and all the crowd stood on the beach. And he spoke to them much in parables, saying, see, the sower went out to sow. And as he sowed, some indeed fell by the wayside, and the birds came and devoured them. And others fell on rocky places where they did not have much soil. And immediately they sprang up, because they had no depth of soil. But when the sun was up, they were scorched, and because they had no root, they withered. And others fell among thorns, and the thorns came up and choked them. And others fell on good soil and yielded a crop, some 100-fold, some 60, some 30. He who has ears to hear, let him hear. Now, this is these are, Messiah talks a lot about this. Messiah, in all words, is a farmer of men. He is absolutely one of the greatest farmers of all times. And that is literally what we are called to do. We are called to be fishers of men. We are called to be those people who are the sowers. We're supposed to be out there sowing seed wherever we can find it. We're supposed to be taking those who are barely in the ground, and we're supposed to be nurturing them. We're supposed to be helping them. If we are able to throw some dirt on others and to help them grow and to be a farming stable for them, this is what we are supposed to do. The kingdom is going to be brought forth by the people who are willing to do the work for the kingdom. And this is what Messiah is talking about now. His Talmidim, which are his disciples, they don't understand all this. And this is where they continue to say, in verse 10, and the Talmidim came and said to him, why do you speak to them in parables? And he answering said to them, because it has been given to you to know the secrets of the reign of the Shamayim, but to them it has not been given. For whoever possesses, to him more shall be given, and he shall have overflowingly. But whoever does not possess, even what he possesses, shall be taken away from him. Okay, anybody here? Wake up, Eli. What did that just say? Do you have any idea what I just said? Okay, Kate, do you have any idea what I just said? Everybody's jumping to their scriptures real quick. All right, so nobody's listening here at this table. I hope you guys are still with me out here. Okay, so the Talmidim are wondering why we have to do with this stuff in parables. Why is everything Messiah talked about in parables? And he talks about it a lot. And they're the same parable Messiah uses over and over and over. And in fact, in the book of the Nazarene, he talks about these guys telling them, his disciples, he says, I want you to tell the same parables over and over and over. It doesn't matter how you tell them as long as the point is the exact same. And so when he's telling parables, he's telling things that some people will be able to understand, some people won't be able to understand. And so this is why we have to teach for the crowd. Some crowds are not straight Torah keepers. Most crowds aren't Torah keepers. This is why when I talk, I also say Jesus Christ, even though I don't use Jesus Christ, because that's not his name. But if I didn't use that, then we have 3 billion people out there when I say Yahushua that would have no idea what I'm even saying. And we can explain it over and over and over, but everybody's been indoctrinated with the wrong name. So sometimes you have to teach in ways that people are able to understand. So I've had people that will pick up rocks and chuck them at me because I say things like Rabbi Paul, Rabbi Shaul, or I say things like Jesus the Christ. But it's simply to trying to get others to understand what I'm even talking about. Okay, continuing on. 12. Did I do 12? I'm not asking you to.
13.
Okay, 13. Because of this, I speak to them in parables. Messiah saying, because seeing they do not see, and hearing they do not hear, nor do they understand. You guys, these are the same things that all of us get to see out there, especially anybody who's on YouTube that's trying to teach the Christians. It doesn't matter what you say. You would literally have to say something in a parable that people walk away with and think about, because if you tell them the laws are good and that Messiah didn't come to make all food clean, all of a sudden they'll shut down. But if you can put stuff in kind of a parable and get the people thinking about it, and you continue on with it, then we're working the farm, we're working the kingdom road. 14. And in them, the Nebuah of Yeshayahu, so the prophecy of Isaiah, is completely filled, which says, hearing you shall hear, and by no means understand, and seeing you shall see, and by no means perceive. For the heart of this people has become thickened, and their ears are hard of hearing, and their eyes they have closed, lest they should see with their eyes and hear with their ears, lest they should understand with their heart and turn back, and I heal them. Okay, what is he saying here, anyone?
So basically, the people did
their ears really close and their eyes go dim? What is he talking
But
about?
it's like a Christian.
Spiritually, right? That they are unable to see it. And we have an entire world of this, that the thing about indoctrination, think about the Christian religion, is people get angry. When you mess with their indoctrination, even though it's not part of scriptures, they do not care because that's all of the understanding that they have. And it's so sad because we have billions and billions of people in these false religions, and they all raise their hands at 8 years old, and they all think they're saved, and they all say things like, once saved, always saved. When Messiah says, depart from me, go to hell, you who are lawless, they don't see this. Their eyes cannot see it, even though we're talking in the same books that supposedly, as a follower of Christ, they're supposed to be followers of Christ. This is what Messiah says. He says, go to hell, you who work lawlessness, but people have their eyes closed, their ears are just gone. Okay, 16. And blessed, Baruch, are your eyes because they see, and your ears because they hear. For I truly say to you that many Nebiim and righteous ones long to see what you see and did not see it, and to hear what you hear and did not hear it. You then hear the parable of the sower. When anyone hears the word of the rain and does not understand it, then the wicked one comes and snatches away what was sown in the heart. This is that sown by the wayside. Now, what Messiah is doing right here is he is explaining to his disciples what the entire parable was talking about, right? And so we have seed that goes out there, and Messiah says when people hear the word of the rain and they don't understand it, then the wicked one comes and snatches away that was sown in their heart. Now, how does the wicked one snatch this away, what was sown in their heart? Well, a lot of us don't have a Torah-based life. A lot of us will go home and turn on the TV, the television programming, and we will become indoctrinated with things that are demonic, satanic, and unmorally complete, right? If you are looking at some of the grossest, most evil stuff that we have ever seen, it's flipping that TV on. Do you want to know what a derelict parent looks like? A derelict parent looked like me. I sat my kids down in front of that stupid TV programming, and that was their babysitter. And had I not found Torah much later on in life, by now I don't know where they would all be, because that's what happens. And so that's how things are snatched away from us, right? All these things, problems in our life come by, and all of a sudden we're not thinking about scriptures anymore. We're not thinking about protecting our soul. We're thinking about how to pay our taxes, right? Something of the sort. Now, continuing on. We're talking about, this is what was sown by the wayside, and that's sown on rocky places. This is he who hears the word and immediately receives it with joy, yet he has no root in himself, but is short-lived. And when pressure or persecution arises because of the word, immediately he stumbles. Guys, we see this all the time. I see this in the prison ministry. I see this on the guys on death row. I don't know those guys who all of a sudden, like, you know what, I'm down with the Torah. They've known religion all their life. I don't know if these guys are the people that the root has been, the seed has been put on rocky places, which is why when these guys start seeking Torah, that is where this mission with Yah Scriptures begins, because we're writing these guys, right? We're constantly writing these guys. 88 cents is what it costs us to write these guys for a one-way trip from them to write us back. It's 88 cents. And we're dropping $21 all the time. It's every day or so, it's another 21 bucks trying to get enough stamps to write these guys. But we're trying to make sure that when these guys hear the word and they receive it with joy, which a lot of them are, even on death row, that it doesn't fall onto deaf ears. 21 says, yet he has no root in himself. This is the people that got it, but it's short-lived. And when pressures or persecution arises because of the word, immediately he stumbles or we stumbles. 22. And that sown among the thorns is he who hears the word, and the worry of this age and the deceit of riches choke the word, and it becomes fruitless. Again, right? The devil has a tremendous amount of ways to make sure that the people who should be Torah keepers never become Torah keepers. There's so many different things, right? And it clearly talks about those, the riches, those in the deceit of riches choke the word, right? How easy is it for those who are poor and broke to make the Shamayim, and how hard is it for a rich man? It's easier for a rich man to make it through the eye of the gates of the city than it is for them to enter into the Shamayim. 23. We're talking about the seed right here. And that sown on the good soil is he who hears the word and understands it, who indeed bears the fruit and yields, some 100-fold, some 60, and some 30. And guys, this is the incredible thing. Again, I bring this about to my brothers and sisters in chains, because there's a couple of brothers in chains who they're on fire for Yah, for his Torah, for Messiah Yahushua. There's guys in prisons that literally run a prison ministry themselves as inmates themselves. And that's what we've been looking for. And we're looking for those that we can find to be good farmers. And then all of a sudden the good farmers are in there inside of the darkness, and they're sitting there trying to show light to these people that have never seen light. And so some of these guys who we have talked to, they take off. They start telling other people. We have another brother in there who's about to be paroled. His name is Larry Bronner. And that guy has sent so many people. He's really old. He's really, really old. He's been in there most of his life. And people come in. We have scriptures that are given because of Larry and his ministry. And so there is a tremendous amount of good seed that is out there. And there's a tremendous amount of people that are growing up in this. But it's up to all of us to do this. All of us need to find the people that we can minister to bring the kingdom to fruition. Continuing on, 24. Another parable he put before them, saying, the rain of the Shamayim, the rain of heaven, has become like a man who sowed good seed in his field. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed darnel among the wheat and went away. And when the blade sprouted and bore fruit, then the darnel also appeared. And the servants of the master of the house came and said to him, Master, did you not sow good seed in your field? From where then does it have the darnel? And he said to them, an enemy did this. And the servant said to him, do you want then that we go up and gather them up? But he said, no, lest while you gather up the darnel, you also uproot the wheat with them. Let both grow together until the harvest. And at the time of harvest, I shall say to the reapers, first gather the darnel and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my granary. Okay, I grew up on a farm. We grew up on a wheat farm. I grew up on a barley and a wheat farm, and that is absolutely true. I walked hundreds and hundreds of culverts every single day. And when you have wheat when the wheat is small, you can do some stuff with it. But as it gets up and up, if you're out there trying to weed it, you're going to smash the wheat. You're going to smash everything. You can't walk into a wheat field especially a mature wheat field. It leaves a path. There's no way you can get in there easily unless you walk the rows. And most of these guys probably back in the day didn't have rows. So the thing is that Messiah is talking about here is that sometimes you have to let the evil grow up next to the good stuff. And Messiah is going to be that guy who gathers this, right? Messiah and his dad, Yahuwah, are going to gather this. The chaff is going to be burned. The good stuff is going to be gathered into the kingdom. But these are the parables that he's talking about. Now, continuing on. Another parable he put before them, saying, the rain of the Shamayim is like a mustard seed, which a man took and sowed in his field, which indeed is less than all the seeds. But when it is grown, it is greater than the plants. It becomes a tree. So the birds of the Shamayim come and dwell in its branches. And guys, all you have to do is look at a mustard seed and mustard tree, right? The bush, the giant bush that comes out of it, it's monstrous. Continuing in, Messiah says, another parable he spoke to them. The rain of the Shamayim is like leaven, which a woman took and hid in 3 measures of meal until all was leavened. Yahushua said all this to the crowds in parables, and he did not speak to them without a parable, so that what was spoken by the Nabai might be filled, saying, I shall open my mouth in parables. I shall pour forth what has been hidden from the foundation of the world. I see an issue with the app here. Okay. Then having sent the crowds away, Yahushua went into the house, and his Talmidim came to him, saying, explain to us the parable of the darnel in the field. And he answering said to them, he who is sowing the good seed is the son of Adam, the ben of Adam, Messiah Yahushua. And the field is the world. And the good seed, these are the sons of the rain. But the darnel are the sons of the wicked one. And the enemy who sowed them is the devil. And the harvest is the end of the age. And the reapers are the messengers. Okay, these are like big things. I mean, this all applies to every single one of us in this day and age, right? We don't want to be the outcasts. We don't want to be the weeds. We don't want to be the people who are going to the other place. There is a path. There is a kingdom. There's a way. And the way of the people of the kingdom is Kodesha, is holiness. It's not a people that look like the world and taste like the world and smell like the world, right? If we're only here on Shabbat, keeping praise and worship for our Creator, that's a wonderful start. But we have 6 other days of the week that we have a commandment, this Deuteronomy 6:4, that tells us we need to write these laws, statutes, and commands on our heart, mind, and soul. They need to be frontlets between our eyes. We need to speak of them when we go to sleep, when we rise up. They are a part of our life. And so if we want to have in eternity with the kingdom, then it's something we need to very much all be astute on, not with guys like me on YouTube that are sitting here telling you stuff. Don't believe me. Believe what scriptures say. From the first page to the end of the page, that's the doctrine of the kingdom. Okay, now, continuing on. 40. Okay, as the darnel then is gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be at the end of the age. The son of Adam shall send out his messengers, and they shall gather out of his reign all the stumbling blocks, and those doing lawlessness, and shall throw them into the furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Okay, well, there's a problem right here because we have the entire Christian religion. The Christian religion tells us once saved, always saved. They say you can pray to Jesus and ask him to forgive you for your sins. Anytime you sin, we can just ask Jesus for forgiveness. We can have pig on our plate, and we can pray, and we can bless the pig, and we can eat whatever we want. Guys, that's called lawlessness, right? When you're eating unclean food and you say that Jesus died to make your food clean, that's lawlessness, and that's also ignorance as well. Lawlessness is not worshiping on a Shabbat, right? Messiah very clearly in answering all of these people says that those who are lawless are going to the furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Do we want to hang out with the wailing and gnashing of teeth? Is this a good place where the worms eat our body and the heat never turns down? It's just a place that we deserve because we are so unloyal to our Creator that we will not take his gift, which is the Torah. We will not take his gift, which is Messiah Yahushua. We will not take the way of the Shaimaim. And for those who don't want the kingdom, they're not going to get the kingdom. There's going to be wailing and gnashing of teeth. I would much rather not be to the place of wailing and gnashing of teeth. Sounds not good, right? Continuing on. Then the righteous shall shine forth as the sun in the reign of their Father. He who has ears to hear, let him hear. Not only does the Christians have this book in their doctrine, but it also has the same verse, and it also says if you have ears to hear, let him hear. This is out of the words of our Messiah. You have 3 billion different people in religions, and nobody has ears to hear. Nobody wants to hear. If you guys are hearing this, you guys are the minority. You guys are the people that our Creator has opened your eyes. And this is why we need to praise him more. We need to thank him more, that we're not stuck in the rest of this world. The world's a filthy place. The world's a disgusting place. There's some sick stuff in this world. And when we are walking with Torah, we avoid a tremendous amount of it. But if you don't know Torah, you're not going to avoid anything. You're going to walk right into it, and you're going to go, well, I didn't know I shouldn't drink blood. I didn't know I shouldn't eat fat. I worship on a Sunday. I thought this is what it said, even though the Torah says over and over and over, we have a commandment to keep. Now, continuing on. Where are we at, Phyllis?
I think 44.
Yeah.
44. Again, the reign of the Shaimaim is like treasure hidden in a field, which a man having found it hid, and for joy over it, he goes and sells all that he has and buys that field. Okay? Guys, this is the joy of the Torah, right? Once we realize that there is a path forward, that there is a kingdom to come, that there is a leader, a Messiah who is a strong, courageous, incredible leader who is awaiting a certain people, and there will be a second Exodus, that's joy, right? We're not going to have to live forever in this horrible, horrible world. And even I'm talking beyond death, right? This world that we live in sucks. The people around us they're evil, and they're okay with being evil, and the world is getting darker and darker and darker every single day, and really there are just not a lot of people that are on fire for the kingdom, and this is our home. I don't know why we can't be on fire for it. 45. Again, the reign of the Shaimaim is like a man, a merchant seeking fine pearls, who when he had found one pearl of great price went and sold all that he had and bought it. Again, the reign of the Shaimaim is like a dragnet that was thrown into the sea and gathered some of every kind, which when it was filled, they drew to shore, and they sat down and gathered the good into containers, but threw the rotten away. Thus shall it be at the end of the age. The messenger shall come forth and separate the wicked out of the midst of the righteous, and shall throw them into the furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Okay, so guys, Messiah's talking about the end days. All of what he's talking about right here is basically them coming to get us, right? They're going to throw a giant net in there. The bad are going to be thrown away. They're going to harvest what it is. The bad is going to be burned. This is what it is. We have a choice right now. Will we seek the kingdom road, or will we seek the way of Hasatan? Continuing on, 51. Yahushua said to them, have you understood all this? They said to him, yes, Adonai. And he said to them, therefore, every scholar taught in the reign of the Shamayim is like a householder who brings out his treasure, renewed and old. Okay, somebody want to take a stab at what that just said right there?
So basically, he's taking out his treasure. He's showing everyone what is the new stuff and the old stuff. But so it's like he is scholar of the Shamayim.
So scholars, everybody who's schooled, right? Everybody who's schooled and is taught in the reign of the Shamayim is like a householder who brings out his treasure, renewed and old, right? If we are understanding, if there is a true understanding of what the Shamayim, what the heavens are going to be like, that is gold, right? That is the absolute thing. Because you have even in the Christian religion, you have like cable channels called TBS, like Trinity Broadcasting Network. It's the 24/7 TBS. And they will sit there and they will have people going to heaven all day long. Call this number and pray with them, and everybody's out, right? The entire church of Satan is all of these TBS, the entire church of Satan, right? Satan's biggest thing is that he got everybody to say the laws of our Creator are gone, that they don't matter to us anymore. And so nobody has any value on them. But once we figure out the value, then we're excited that there's a way forward. And not everybody wants it. Not everybody thinks this is the way for them, which is fine. It's not for everybody. Definitely. Messiah says most people are not taken. Okay. 53. And it came to be when Yahushua had ended these parables that he left there. And when he had come to his own country, he taught them in their congregation, so that they were astonished and said, where did this one get this wisdom and miracles? Is this not the son of the carpenter? Is not his mother called Miriam, and his brothers Yaakov and Yosef and Shimon and Yehuda? And his sisters, are they not all with us? Where then did this one get all this? And they stumbled at him. But Yahushua said to them, a prophet, a Nabi, is not unappreciated except in his own country and in his own house. And he did not do many miracles there because of their unbelief. So right out of the gate, guys, that is amazing. We have Babette in there telling us we are completely wrong. So anyway, let us continue on, guys. The Kingdom Road is simply amazing. It is something that is there for all of us if we will choose to keep it. And it's also there for us if we choose not to keep it. And so we will always be those people who are trying to push people into scriptures, push people. There's no religion. There's no such religion. And that's the thing I tell my brothers and sisters in chains all the time. We don't have a religion. And right out of the gate, when you tell them you don't have a religion, their eyes open up and they're ready to listen, because that's all we've been done is been blasted with religion that is contrary to what Scriptures says. Okay, guys. So with that, I think I am going to call this. Jade, will you please bless our brothers and sisters?
Yehovah baruch you and guard you. Yehovah make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. He will lift his face upon you and give you peace. And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I myself shall baruch them.
Okay, everybody. We love you all. We hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for hanging out with us. Let's rend the heavens.
Don't
All right, everybody. May Yahweh bless you and keep you. May his light forever shine on you. May you forever be a part of the Torah kingdom to roll. Thank you guys very much. We love you all. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.